Indian news ma wakɔ aba assign the ba wɔn kasa fidie so bio. Na maka trust before anything else na just our share na ebiem nso kwa na wo subscribe to your channel no. What's the political news there? Never governance. We catch you sa pan input of ma yet. Na pan yet of ma yet there. Ani na nsɛm foforɔ bi nso asan esi. Benim sɛ what the nsɛm ade bɛn na ya na ya wote na ya wɔhɔ na ya wɔfɛ nso so. Nti no nsɛm foforɔ bi asi a India news yan so pan yɛ tɔ for me baabi yɛ ti nyinaa akyi no yɛ nsa atumi aka bi na yaso nso atumi ate saa nsɛm bi. Yɛntie nsɛm mmra sisi a na mpanimfoɔ mpo sɛ kakum no yɛgye no kɔkɔɔ anum. The ba before that no subscribe to your channel no. Sabaka all other news ɛfa politics one the opposite what tie no ɛho. Etie ba ebe ba bi asusu so person de body no fa. Na de asie bia no so fa comment enso to asie na yɛnkenkan informaw de ready na ɛmɛkɔ. Yɛntie nsɛm mmra sisi a wotie no fa comment to asie ba yɛmfa nkyɛmu no nso ɛnto aso. Yɛntie mmra.
There's a recent development as far as the matters in respect of the Chief Justice are concerned. And the Chief Justice has issued a writ, this time herself. And her lawyer is Godfrey Dame. And she's asking, among others, for a public, broadcast of the committee process. Let's hear a few people about the matters that have transpired in the course of the week and come to the studio.
Unconstitutionality. The process has been laden with grave violations of the Constitution each step of the way. In the first place, even the President's consultation with the Chief Justice, when he had not notified the Chief Justice of receipt of the petitions, was even unconstitutional. A disparate relief we are seeking. Secondly, the manner in which the so-called federal factual determination was made was also unconstitutional. It's an affront to the Constitution. Every citizen of this country is entitled to a fair trial. This process clearly it violates every tenet of a fair trial. How can it be told the Chief Justice that yes, a federal factual case has been made against you, and that is it? There's no reason given. There's no specification of the allegations, the reasoning for it, the basis, and what have you. And these are basic rights that every citizen of the country ought to enjoy. Justice Praman is one person that I respect a lot. But how can it be that Justice Praman will give 4 judgments in favor of one of the petitioners in the matter and be appointed as the chairman of this committee? And it is not only one matter. Apparently, it is actually two of the petitioners. He also sat on all of the cases involving the police officer, who is also a petitioner in this matter. So clearly, the whole process is really all kinds of unconstitutionality and leading with people who are afflicted by conflict of interest.
Supreme Court. Well, they have spoken. I will go into conclave with my lawyers and we will advise ourselves. Right, appropriately.
It is an MPP-NDC legal battle. And I said that as far as that picture gets painted, the ordinary Ghanaian citizen would think that it has seemed to be a legal battle, that has now become a political controversy. Behind the scene, and allow some other, lawyers to represent the Chief Justice. I'll not, have any problem with it. So the problem I have with it is that it is entrenching, the political divide. So it's now clear the lines are drawn. It is NPP versus NDC. And it was something that started as a legal battle is now engrossed in a political controversy.
Government is showing intolerance. They have to watch it, because if government allows extremists and hardliners to control the government, it doesn't help the cause of democracy. We're in this country, and we all know how the NDC executives, leaders in parliament, party folks, their posture. We all know the kind of posture, and attitude in opposition. I'm not sure that if what we're seeing today had happened to any of them, NDC would have been quiet. Be that as it may, they have government. Someone has petitioned the president. If you are not happy with it, do you get the NIB to storm his residence, an unarmed citizen of Ghana? Well, we've seen him. The NIB officials claim they are doing investigation, and they are not done. So we've just left him. Fortunately, his lawyer is there. Let us see how the government dances around this.
Right. So you have been listening to Godfred Yeboah Dame, James Kobna Bonfe, whose application was lost by a 4-1 majority decision of the Supreme Court. But as you know by now, soon after that was dismissed, then we had a writ issued and injunction application being sought on the 21st of this month. It was filed at 3 a.m. It is by Her Ladyship Justice Gertrude Araba Esaba Tokonu, and the defendants are the Attorney General, Justice Gabriel Scott Puamang, who is chairman of the committee, Justice Samuel Kwame Adibu Esiedu, who is a member of the committee, Daniel Yao Domelovo, who is a member of the committee, Major Flora Bazawuna Dalugu, who is a member, and Professor James Sefa Jisa, who is also a member. Of course, you heard Ansa Asari, who is a former director of the Ghana School of Law, who thinks that the Chief Justice's move is rather bad. And then you had Afenyo Marking, who was at the Bureau of National Intelligence. We all love to call it the BNI. Now it's NIB, and it makes it difficult to say.
Name.
Yeah.
The handful one.
To help to get bail for the young man by name Adenta Kumi, who was arrested over the publication and commentaries that he made, including a petition, we are told, to the presidency, alleging that the chairman of the committee and then a member of the committee as Justice Yoni Kolendi and a lawyer to one of the petitioners met at a restaurant, and they were overheard discussing the petition, and therefore he wanted the whole committee to be dissolved. Let's begin with Professor. I don't know where you want to take it from. There are just too many issues around it.
Yes, something true. There's been a lot of twists and turns, and it is true also that we see a situation where the whole judicial process regarding the petition that is supposed to be determined to determine whether the Chief Justice should remain in office or not has been politicized, and so it creates a very bad scene, especially for law students who want to know the law and know the processes involved in many or several legal situations that may come up. And so it's very unfortunate that this has been the turn of events. Be that as it may, I think that we have to look at what the Constitution is saying and to be able to abide by the tenets of the Constitution. Where I see a situation where the law is clear on the face of it, and so you need to go by the black letter interpretation of it in some ways, but also there's an attempt to go by the purposive interpretation approach and to seek to sort of redesign the Constitution more or less to be able to ensure that justice is served. And so at the end of the day, where we are now, it looks like we have to let the process work. And so my view on it is that unless we get to the bottom of this, we'll not be able to know how this whole process will end up. There seems to be some misinterpretation that this is an attempt to remove the Chief Justice, but I don't think we should see it that way. There is a process in place, and at the end of the day, the result could be the Chief Justice is removed or she's not. And I think the issue about the suspension has also led to a situation where some have concluded that if there's a suspension, there's definitely the Chief Justice is going to be removed. So that interpretation, I think, is wrong, and it's unfortunate that some seasoned lawyers are making that interpretation, and which has caught on with some political followers, and therefore it has led to the clear politicization of the matter. So that issue, the case as it is now, should be allowed to work. I think that the decision, the most recent step in the whole process where a writ has been issued, to my mind, is unfortunate. And it looks like we want to really drag the matter in a way that will muddy the waters. It's unfortunate. I see clearly that there's some kind of some discord or mistrust within among the Supreme Court justices themselves, looking at the way the suspended Chief Justice is trying to suggest that the members on the committee can be biased, and therefore they cannot sit on the committee. So all these things imply that the whole process has been politicized. And I can also conclude that the justices themselves, in a way, have been politicized. And so there seems to be people taking sides based on, with some political color involved in it. On the part of the Attorney General, I also see some contradictions or contrary behaviors. The former Attorney General, because the posture he took when he was the Attorney General and where he is right now, it seems to me contradictory, and it's actually confusing to me. When he was the Attorney General, we know some of the decisions he made, some of the unethical issues that were involved or connected with some of the cases he did. He seems to be on a different path now, seeking for redesigning, reinterpretation of the Constitution to make sure that justice is served for the Chief Justice. And so at the end of the day, I don't really know where he stands and what he wants to achieve by this. Of course, on one side, we see that he wants to ensure that the Chief Justice is restored to her position, and then the whole process is abrogated. But my question is, to what purpose? Is it, in what way is this case and the way he's approaching it going to help in the jurisprudence of the Supreme Court, and how we as learners of the law and especially students of the law can learn from it? That will help them to learn about constitutional law, administrative law issues, even human rights related issues. And so at the end of the day, we need to be cautious how we let politics enter into the legal arena, so that we can learn something out of it in a way that will improve the study of the law. Of course, it's at the end of the day, justice needs to be served. And I think that the processes as has been outlined in the Constitution, that do not completely take justice out of the hands of the Chief Justice. And so I think that the process should be allowed to serve its course. And at the end of the day, we'll be able to know what happens out of it. We have already mentioned that the process as it is not fair. But that is what we have now as the Constitution. And we need to respect that.
So first, you say a couple of things that I'm left wondering. Are you saying that the Chief Justice does not have a right when she feels that her rights are being violated to approach the Supreme Court and ventilate her rights? So why is it unfortunate that she has gone to court? Is that not what civilized people do?
Definitely. I'm not disputing or contesting the fact that the Chief Justice has a right to demand that her rights are respected. That is certainly the case. And so one cannot necessarily question what she's trying to do. She has a right to do that. But what I'm saying is that we should make the system work in the way that when something wrong has been done, we will make sure that while we seek to ensure that we get justice served, we also have to look at the processes carefully. And when we want to question it, we should have a firm basis for doing that.
Your point was that she's seeking to frustrate the process, but she's seeking to ventilate her rights. That's what she's saying.
Yeah, I think that it's about frustrating the process, and that is where my concern is.
Is that a fair comment to her that she feels her rights are being violated and she's seeking to ventilate her rights, assert them, and you say that it's just an attempt to frustrate the process?
The Chief Justice has the right. I already indicated that. And she has a right to question the process every step of the way. But at the same time, some of the steps that are being taken are meant to frustrate the process. For example, if you look at the question of injunction, the injunction has been thrown in here and there. First, to injunct the Council of State, the President, the Council of States, when the issue of prima facie issue came up, even when the President had said that, okay, Chief Justice, submit your petition, your response to the petition, the matter still remained at the Supreme Court. And now they are questioning placing under injunction the way of the committee and questioning the qualification of some of her colleagues to sit on the matter. And that's why I'm saying that there is some issue about the fraternity and the camaraderie that's supposed to reign among members of the Supreme Court. And so if that is really something that is missing, then there's an issue there with the Supreme Court. But the bottom line is that if you look at the way all these processes are being thrown in, now a writ hasn't been issued, and so on, I think that's an attempt to frustrate the process. The call for public hearing, when I think it's clear that the Constitution says the committee shall sit in camera, then what is the justification for asking for the process to be changed so that there will be a public hearing? These are the issues that I think are being thrown in to frustrate the process, maybe to delay the process, and I don't know what's the final outcome that may arrive.
In respect of the issue of the public hearing, we have heard people like Professor Michael Quay say, yes, the law says it has to be in camera. Everybody else can see the law plain, says it has to be in camera. But there is the need, because of the nature, the public interest nature of this case, to have a public, screening of it. This Chief Justice has been known to regularly allow matters of national interest to be televised. So what she's doing complies with, accords with what we know her to be, correct?
I think when we're talking about the decision she took